If you see clothes on your windshield, don't touch them. Every month, if not every week, we see more and more scams coming out. They're often advanced variations of some long-running schemes, but they're sometimes new and pretty ingenious. In any case, being aware of these tricks will allow you to protect yourself and your loved ones so that nobody falls victims to these criminals. Clothes on your windshield. People have recently started to find some article of clothing, like a shirt, for instance, lying on their windshield or wrapped up in their wipers. If you ever happen to be one of these people, don't fall into this trap and don't try to remove the object. Just get in your car and drive away as fast as you can from the place you were parked. This seemingly misplaced garment is actually a new con being used by muggers and thieves. It works like this. If you see some random piece of clothing that prevents your wipers from moving or obscures your view, your first reaction will be to remove it, of course. But while you're distracted untying it or trying to get it off, the criminal has plenty of time to jump you. The most common place for this sort of scam is parking garages. They're usually badly lit and pretty deserted, which means there are few witnesses around and plenty of dark spaces for the attacker to lie in wait. Doorstep scam. The bad guys involved in this scheme like to target senior citizens. In fact, about 85% of the victims of doorstep scammers have been 65 and older. Nonetheless, you should still be careful whatever your age. It goes like this. Somebody knocks on your door or rings the bell and waits for you to answer. You open up and they introduce themselves, falsely of course. They have all kinds of identities too. They might pretend to be from your gas or electric company, a door-to-door proselytizer, or someone conducting a consumer survey. The worst con men are the ones that play on your generosity. They'll say that they're collecting donations for some charity, and if you offer them clothing, books, or toys instead of money, they'll just sell those items later. Or they'll tell you stories about their hard life to get into your home or con you out of your money. But, in general, they just want to have a peek inside your house, scope out anything valuable, and come back later, when you're not home of course, to break in and steal your stuff. That's why you should always be alert when a stranger approaches your door. Sure, they could be a real tradesperson or an official, but you can never be too cautious, especially since most scammers aren't only persuasive, but also friendly and polite. Pretend pregnancy. This scam by no means involves expecting mothers. The deceivers here are women just pretending to be pregnant. The thing is that even store security guards usually overlook women with big baby bumps, considering them no threat and innocent by default. Scammers take advantage of this and easily get away with committing petty crimes like pickpocketing or shoplifting. But they're not so petty when you're the victim. Sometimes a woman who seems pregnant will ask for help or pretend to feel unwell. So a kind-hearted individual extending a helping hand may end up finding that their wallet has gone missing. They can even get their boyfriends, husbands, or friends involved by distracting you with their acting, while their partner in crime grabs your purse or slips their sticky fingers into your pocket. Marks on your door. If one day you come home and notice some graffiti or markings on your door or house, call the police immediately. Even if it just looks like a teenage prank or a simple scratch, it's better to be safe than sorry, because burglars use certain marks to tell other criminals different things about your home. For example, something resembling a Roman numeral 2 means that the homeowners are rich, so the place is a great target. On the other hand, a crossed circle tells other burglars that there's nothing valuable to take from the house. A long horizontal rectangle divided into 4 parts means the place has a big aggressive guard dog. A triangle divided into 2 parts by a vertical line tells criminals to hit the place only at night, while a reversed one says that a house or apartment is free after dinner. And something looking like a combined A and K lets their fellow burglars know that the house is always full of people. Scammers pretending to be victims. Sometimes criminals can even pretend to be your victim. To do this, they might, very carefully, throw themselves at your car as you back out of a parking spot or something of the like. Of course, they won't be harmed since they've been extremely cautious about it. But they'll put on a performance worthy of an Oscar, moaning and screaming in pain or swearing that you've broken their expensive cell phone or watch and whatnot. And of course, they'll demand money for it. These scammers are so sneaky about it that you won't even understand that the accident wasn't your fault. The The most important thing is to keep a cool head and suggest calling the police or 911 to sort everything out. Upon hearing these words, your victim will have a sudden change of heart and will probably make a swift escape. Sweetheart Scam. People who tell you to be careful when using online dating sites and apps have plenty of reasons to be so skeptical. It usually happens like this. Somebody nice starts writing you on some dating site. The two of you really hit it off, and you chat non-stop. Everything seems peachy except for one thing. This person lives far away, and you just don't have any opportunity to meet up at the moment. After some time, your online love interest writes to you about some huge personal crisis they're having or a horrible accident that's happened to them. It's usually something along the lines of a pet, relative, or this person themselves needs an unbelievably expensive life-saving operation, and they can't afford it. The scammer, of course, humbly promises to pay you back as soon as possible, so you're ready and willing to help them out financially. But as soon as you've transferred the money, your online sweetheart disappears, and you never hear from them again. You, unfortunately, have become victim of a scam. That's why you should be extremely cautious if somebody you don't really know that well and have never met in person asks you to send them money. GPS tracker on your car. Finally, the last, but certainly not least dangerous scam is one that involves a new generation of GPS trackers that criminals attach to your car. At first, these trackers were used by the police, military, or special services with the aim of following criminals and terrorists. But nowadays, anybody can get their hands on one of these devices simply by purchasing one online. These GPS trackers are also called magno trackers, since they stick to your car magnetically. They attach themselves so easily that criminals can throw these things out their car window and onto your vehicle as they pass you on the highway. Some of them can even be shot from special cannons. Criminals can use these magno GPSs to stalk their victims and find out when they're at home or work or wherever. There was a case when a jealous ex-husband was planning to attack his ex-wife using the data he'd been collecting from the tracker that he'd secretly attached to her car. Luckily, the tracker was noticed by a mechanic when the woman was having her car serviced, and it was removed before anything bad happened to her. What's even scarier, these GPS trackers can inform criminals about your location even if you're in another country. So if you see a tracker on your car, be extremely cautious. If it's really noticeable, someone has probably thrown it out their car window and is waiting for you to pull over and get out to take it off. And it's at this moment when the bad guy will try to attack and rob you, or they might wait until you get home to figure out where you live. On the other hand, if you find such a device in a hidden place, like underneath your car, it's a real cause for concern because criminals are targeting you specifically. So, if you find a magnetic tracker attached to your car, take it off in a totally random place that's far from your home or work and not even on the way to these locations. After you remove the tracker, take a picture of the device, leave it on the ground, drive as far away as possible, and call the police. Hopefully, with this information, law enforcement will have a better chance of catching those who use magno trackers illegally. Do you know about any other popular schemes? Tell us in the comments below. Don't forget to click subscribe to stay on the bright side of life.